Hello, here we are with Francisco Guglielmino, who was one of the first students at the Cottage School, and I would like to ask him a couple of questions. So, the first question I have for you, Francisco, is what do you remember the most about your experience with the Cottage School?
What I remember the most about the cottage school is probably every morning when we would have circle time on our sheepskin mats, and we would play with the little wooden colored blocks. Those little wooden blocks, I remember there's so many times in my life actually where I've been surprised by just remembering creating pirate ships. There was this one time, or castles just with cubes, nothing but little colored cubes. And being inspired by all the friends, all the kids around me, we would all make such different things, and it's so cool because it all came out of a basket just full of tiny little colored wooden cubes, and that was it. But we all brought our own imagination, brought ourselves into it, and were able to make so much art out of something so simple.
Okay, that's great. So, the other question I have is what did you like best about the Cottage School?
So this is similar. It kind of goes off of the last comment, but in the same way that all the children were able to make such different things out of these blocks, I think that speaks a lot to how the cottage school fosters each individual student's creativity and created this environment where we could fully express ourselves. We never had to color, in lines. We basically, there's no coloring books. We would just draw and color it ourselves from what came naturally. And that was for sure my favorite part, the confidence that it gave each student and to express themselves and to create their own art.
Okay, so I have another question. What do you think has influenced you the most from your childhood in what you do now, Francisco?
I think ultimately the cottage school taught me to question myself, but in the best ways possible. It taught me to ask questions, hows and whys, to solve issues and to elaborate on my own ideas. It gave me confidence to create my own projects and think, okay, how am I going to do this? Not only do I have the idea, but how is it going to get done? How can I bring other people into it and make it a collaborative experience? Whereas this isn't like asking questions to doubt myself. It's the opposite. It's asking questions to empower our ideas and make them a reality. And I think that's something invaluable, is telling a child that their idea can come to fruition. Their dream can be a reality.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Francisco. That's wonderful. And so, could you tell us what you do now?
To be honest, I don't even know what if I can put it into one description. And I think that says something about the cottage school. Now I'm an artist, but that's it's very broad, but my art is very broad. I'm a photographer, but I'm still an illustrator. I'm still a painter. I'm a creative director, art director, marketing director. I'm doing a lot of different things involving, the art industry. And I don't want to tie myself down to one role or even to one major. And I think that's because the cottage school taught me I don't need to keep myself down to one thing. I can, go wherever life takes me and just follow my passion. So where am I now? I'm in Boston. I'm at Emerson College, and I'm studying communicative arts and digital media.
Okay, and I have here the last question. As a 19-year-old student, with your experience in different educational settings, what advice would you give parents when they have to choose a school for their children?
There's nothing more important than the education of a child. So I think it's so important for parents to take time to look at their options for their individual child. It may differ between two siblings, and I'm sure it differs between two different households. What I like the most about the cottage school, that I think is what it does best, is the individualized experience for each child. It is an alternative education, but that doesn't mean it's the same alternative education for every single student. So basically, when people talk about investing in someone's college and putting time into looking for the right setting, I think that's just as important in early childhood education, preschool, kindergarten, elementary school, whatever it is. These are the most formative times in someone's life, and it really does build a foundation for what the career is going to be and for what their college is going to be. This is where it all starts. So definitely quality over quantity. And my college itself, is very proud of our small classrooms. I think it's funny because that's what I love the most about the Cottage School is the small classrooms where, again, everyone's needs are addressed and taken care of, because you do have the time between, and you do have the relationship between the teachers and the students. There's just so much love going on in the school, honestly, between the administrators having deep friendships with each other, and the students, get along so well. And then the students with their own teachers, there's bonds built. My mom was my teacher, but even, with the other people who were there who weren't my mom, I love them, and I love them to this day, and I know they loved me, and there's just so much care. And I think that's the biggest investment is the teachers really invest in the children there, and in the same way the children invest in each other and in their education. And it comes naturally. It comes organically.
Well, thank you very much, Francisco. I'm very happy to hear your comments, because those are the same values on which I started the school. And so it's a pleasure to be able to do this interview with you, and my best wishes.
Thank you.
For your studies.